Willie D. Live.
What's up, family? Joseph Lau Menendez and his brother Eric Menendez, commonly referred to as the Menendez brothers, are American brothers convicted of killing their parents, Jose and Mary Louise Kitty Menendez, at their Beverly Hills home in 1989. Joseph, who goes by his middle name Lau, and Eric are seeking resentencing from a judge in California. They want to get out on the basis that they should have never been locked up in the first place because they are actually the real victims. Victims of child neglect, abuse, and sexual assault. Yeah, fam, they're claiming that their mother and father were abusive and controlling, and they had no choice but to off them and send them to the upper room if they were to ever have freedom. Give me a thumbs up if you believe, fam. If you believe that the Menendez brothers should be set free, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs down if you say, hell no, man, lock them up. I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. Listen, fam, before you actually give your thoughts on this completely, you might want to listen to a little bit of background because we've heard a whole lot about what the Menendez brothers has had to say about their parents. But let me give you some background on their parents first and paint a picture of what type of life these guys had and how a recent death could help spring them free. Jose Menendez was born on May 6, 1944 in Havana, Cuba. At the age of 16, due to the Cuban Revolution, he moved to the United States for a better life. Jose attended Southern Illinois University, where he met Mary Louise Kitty Anderson. They were married in 1963 and moved to New York City, where Jose earned an accounting degree from Queens College. The couple's first son, Joseph Lau, who goes by his middle name, as I said, was born January 10, 1968 in New York. Kitty quit her teaching job after Lau was born, and the family moved to New Jersey, where Eric was born on November 27, 1970. Jose became an executive at Hertz Corporation and later RCA Records. After he was appointed as CEO of Live Entertainment, the family moved to Calabasas, California, where Eric attended Calabasas High School. In 1988, Lyle and Eric committed multiple burglaries in their neighborhood, stealing more than $100,000 in cash and jewelry, prompting Jose to move to Beverly Hills. The following year, Eric attended Beverly Hills High School, where he earned average grades, but displayed a talent for tennis, ranking 44th in the U.S. as a junior. About 2 weeks before the murders, Eric and his friend Michael Joyce entered the 1989 Boys Junior National Tennis Championship. Lyle attended Princeton University, where he was placed on academic probation for poor grades and eventually suspended for plagiarism. He lived at the school's dormitory, where he threw out his roommate's belongings because he did not wish to share a room, left sinks overflowing causing damage, and repainted his room in violation of university rules. And check this out, family. In high school, Eric co-wrote an amateur screenplay entitled Friends with a classmate. It's a story of a wealthy young man who committed the perfect murders by killing his parents for their inheritance. But wait, there's more. On August 18, 1989, Lyle and Eric went to several gun stores in Southern California to buy handguns. However, due to issues with Lyle's California driver's license and a 2-week waiting period mandated by gun laws, the brothers decided to purchase shotguns instead. They acquired Moxburg 12-gauge shotguns along with boxes of bird shot and buckshot ammunition in a Big Five sporting goods store in San Diego, California, where Eric used a stolen driver's license from Lyle's friend, Donovan Goodrow. On the evening of August 20, 1989, Jose and Kitty were watching The Spy Who Loved Me in the theater den of their Beverly Hills mansion when Lyle and Eric entered the den, carrying loaded shotguns. Jose was shot 6 times, including a fatal shot to the back of his head. Kitty was shot 10 times in total. Before the fatal shot to her cheek, she was on the ground crawling away. Lyle ran to the car. Eric hands him ammunition to reload before firing the fatal shot to his mother's face. Immediately after the killings, both brothers remained in the house for a few minutes, expecting the police to respond due to the noise of the gunshots. They left to dispose of their clothes that were stained with blood, and later buried the shotgun somewhere along Mulholland Boulevard. They also went to a movie theater and attempted to purchase tickets for the Batman movie to use as their alibi, but abandoned that plan due to the timestamp on the ticket stub. They then headed to the Taste of LA festival at the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. After returning home and finding no police presence, Lyle called 911 and emotionally told the operator, "Someone killed my parents," saying that he had just come home and discovered their bodies. Eric was later heard screaming and crying in the background. When the officers arrived, Lyle and Eric ran from the home toward the officers while screaming. When the police arrived, they did not seek gunshot residue tests from the brothers, which would have indicated whether they had recently discharged a firearm. Lyle and Eric both falsely told officers that they were elsewhere at the time of the killings. Lyle told officers he thought the killings might be business related, implying a mafia hit. Police officers and forensic staff who worked on the crime scene described it as the most brutal they had ever encountered. So how did they get caught? Eric. Yeah, fam. Eric confessed in sessions with his psychologist, citing his will to break free of a controlling father with high standards. That led to their arrest a few months later. I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, and that's why we talking about it. Let me tell you something, fam. These dudes, I do believe, are just monsters. Sometimes you can have good parents, and all parents, any good parent should have high standards. I do not believe that those boys were molested. I don't believe that they were abused. I think that they used that strictly as a cover. I look at these dudes as 2 entitled kids. They've always had that attitude, even when they were in school, that they were better and they deserved better and they deserved privileges that others did not get. So they had a sense of entitlement. These dudes were sitting on all of that money, all of that privilege, and they threw it all away because they wanted it right then and there. They wanted everything that their daddy had worked for. And they probably hated their mother because their mother stood by their daddy's side and said, "No, I'm not going to go against what your father says." The mother, I do believe, played her role as a mother and supported the father's idea of working for what you want. These guys did not only hate their father, they hated his work ethic. They hated that he was responsible, accountable, present. Yeah. They enjoyed privilege and special treatment, and they always wanted that. So they looking at this dude like, man, this guy is just in the way of what we're trying to do. We're average students at best. We're average. We can't really seem to get anything right because we don't really want to work for anything. We want it now. How about, man, you know what, man, let's just kill him. What about mom? I'm going to kill her too. Shouldn't have married him. Ha, 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 ha. Look at the looks on Eric's face, the younger brother. Eric always has the look like he think it's a joke. Even when they first got arrested, those early photos, you could see him with that low smirk on his face like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I did it. What are you going to do about it? And like, didn't care what you were going to do about it. I don't believe that these guys can be rehabilitated. I just don't. To wrap your mind around killing your parents has got to be one of the most diabolical things that a person can think of. Like, what goes in your brain? Yeah, even parents who do some of the worst things to their children, a child cannot bring themselves to take the life of somebody who gave them life. They just can't do it. But these guys seem like they had no problem. And I do believe that if these guys are let out of jail, somebody's daughter or son is going to get killed in the near future. Because these guys, I do believe, I think they're laughing at the fact that so many people are pushing and advocating for them to get out of jail, especially the family, which brings me to the uncle who just died on Sunday. Their uncle, Milton Anderson, is the only one in the family that has been vocal about keeping them locked away. Everybody else want them to get out. But Milton has always said these guys are monsters. They should be in prison for the rest of their lives. And now that he's out of the picture, there might be a glimmer of hope for the Menendez brothers, because oftentimes the DA, the judge, they consider the victims. And if there are no longer any living victims who are against them being paroled, they may consider that and say, okay, we'll go ahead and let them go. Not really understanding how deep that goes and how it affects the community at large. Because on one hand, the parents, the family is saying, yo, we forgive you, we forgive you, we forgive you. Okay, cool. But have they been rehabilitated in order for them to come out back into society, into a civilized world, and live amongst the civilized? The family was hoping to get news that the Menendez brothers would be resentenced, which would in fact free them. Didn't go so well. And they blamed it on the DA. They said that the DA are victimizing the victims, re-victimizing the victims who have been traumatized by this experience. Homie, don't think so. I think the only people who have really been traumatized, well, I ain't gonna say only, but the people who have been traumatized most by these events are Kitty and Jose. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.